Ohio Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Scott M. Gray, D.C., across from the Marion Center between TSC and Kroger. For further information, dial 740-386-6580. Also located on the net at goodbackbadback.com. That's goodbackbadback.com.
Scott Spears along with you on a Wednesday edition of The Exchange, joined by Charlie Evers, Mary Ann Michaels, Martha Douse-Manesi, Shannon O'Neill, and Dr. Scott Gray. And don't leave your set, because today Shannon will be performing live in studio at the end of the program. Going to be a lot of fun. Shannon, what number are you doing today?
Well, I was going to keep it a surprise.
Keep it a surprise. No, hold it in.
Okay.
Hold it in. And it will all be shocked at the end. I cannot wait. Yesterday's quiz question. Who were the four main stars of the movie version of On Golden Pond? They were Henry Fonda, Katharine Hepburn, Jane Fonda, and the one nobody got, Dabney Coleman, was in that movie. He was the love interest of Jane Fonda. We're going to start the day off today, as we do each and every Wednesday, by going to Charlie Evers for Fascinating Facts.
I thought an interesting thing downtown with our streetscape, with the zigzag of our Center Street. We should, I guess if the city had the money, repaint all the curbs with reflective orange or yellow, so that at night, I know when I used to come to on Saturday mornings here during the winter, you could hardly see the curbs. They need to glow so they can avoid running up over a curb, maybe hitting a tree or a fire hydrant. And the fire hydrants ought to be also painted with reflective material.
That's a good one.
It's a kind of a simple thing. I guess if the city wanted me to do it, I'd get a paintbrush, and they gave me the paint and the brush.
Where do you get reflective material?
You break windows and grind up the glass. And
well, there you go, do it, Charlie. Who's going to stop you?
No, they just got done striping many of our highways around here with that reflective material.
Well, I want to mention, if you're new to the program today, or you didn't catch us earlier in the week, look at the box over there. Look at the box, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
It's there.
Strange.
It's just inches away from you. Charlie Evers.
Wow. It worries me some.
It should worry you. Enter if you dare.
Yeah.
You've angered people over the weeks. You took a public outrage, an outcry against the skinheads, the bald heads.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
No, skinheads aren't they German? Isn't that a German movement?
I think it might be.
They're not Germans, but they're ones that.
I like Germans.
Well, yeah, but I mean the skinheads.
How do you feel about skinheads?
Skinhead. That's another type of skinhead that you're talking about.
Anybody with a shaved head?
I'm talking about the ones with a willingly shaved head. They look like clothespins.
Well, I think a skinhead has a willingly
A
shaved head.
skinhead is a wannabe Nazi.
Well, they might be. I'm not doubting that, but they willingly shaved their head.
All I've ever heard to make it a positive thing was a policeman said, well, they can't grab him by the hair.
Well, isn't it? A policeman said that.
Yes.
He had a shaved head.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. But remember, this box is going to be opened on Halloween.
And there was one other thing. The boys with the pants that hang down their knees, I talked to a state patrolman and said, boy, they're the easiest ones to catch in all the world. If they run from you, they trip over their pants.
That sounds right to me. Marianne, fascinating
Oh,
facts.
Scott, I don't know.
What? You got any today from Hoagie
Well,
Carmichael?
I'm thinking Halloween is until the end of October. Are we going to have this discussion every single day?
You got something else to do? October 31st, Marianne.
I know.
Can you guess what's in that box?
I know, but I think people don't want to hear about it every single
Well,
day.
yeah, that's your opinion. Guess what's in that box, Marianne?
I think it's a mannequin.
It's a mannequin.
Yeah, I said that yesterday. I think it's a mannequin, a male mannequin with no hair.
You're entitled to your opinion. But what if the viewer is just turning in for the first time today and they didn't see the box last
Okay,
year?
but this is going to go on for weeks.
The show's going on for weeks. We're still rolling. Go ahead, Mary.
I have words of wisdom.
Go ahead.
I have a plaque that is in my bookcase in my living room, and it was given to me by a friend. And this is what it says. A friend is someone who understands your past, believes in your future, and accepts you as you are today. Now that's a friend.
I wish Hoagie Carmichael was here to play the grand piano after that. That was fascinating, Marianne. Words of wisdom. Now, you want to see Marianne? What year was this picture taken, Marianne?
Uh-oh.
WWVA, a CBS station, apparently.
Well, WWVA has all over the country. It was a country, Wheeling, West Virginia, country and music. That was my first stint on the radio when I was in junior high.
Marianne, the early years. Oh, look at that. My goodness, Marianne.
That microphone, that's a 440 RCA.
Oh, see, you know that.
Look at that. Barely tall
That was
enough
a Saturday morning program called Calling All Girls, and I would give advice on what girls my age should be wearing and what they should be doing.
We got some other neat... Now, look at this. This is Marianne. What kind of dance you doing here, Marianne?
The Charleston.
The Charleston. How silly of me
that's
not
too
to know
small.
that.
You can't see
No, you
that.
can zoom in on that. We've got a good zoom here. We get the light right. Oh, look at that. Marianne shaking it all right there. You saw that dress, Marianne?
No, but I still could do the Charleston.
Oh, wear that in one day, and we'll do the Charleston right here on the show.
No, thank you.
And then we have Charlie.
Yeah.
We got a picture of Charlie here on the Newswife magazine.
And my husband's in that
100
one
years
too, but you
ago.
can't see that one very well
The
either.
tap line. Look at you, Charlie.
Charlie is the first person, and my husband Ted is the fourth person back. And then there's Bob Bender.
Bob Bender.
Dr. Sitterly is next to Charlie, and then Emil Rubich,
I had more hair.
very, very good friend who's now deceased.
1983.
You had quite a bushy head there, Charlie. Well, I like that. Thanks for bringing that stuff in, Marianne. That was very, very neat. Now, as we continue to move on, we're going to go to Dr. Scott Gray. You brought a neck with you this week.
We brought the whole back with us.
Wow,
To talk a little bit about some different reasons that we get low back pain that people don't always talk about. And obviously with chiropractic, we're working to move the bones back into place so that you don't have nerve pressure and irritation. But I also talk a lot in the book about a problem called lower cross syndrome. And a lot of us, from the way that we live our life, a lot of times we're sitting, obviously we're sitting right here today, but when we wake up in the morning, we sit down to eat breakfast, we get in our car, and we sit in our car to go somewhere, and then we go to work, and we sit at work, and most of what we're doing during the day is we sit, and it causes this problem called lower cross syndrome. And I wanted to explain that a little bit to people right now to show you what you can do to actually correct this problem. This has to do with the core muscles, and we're always told to strengthen our core. And what do people typically think of when you think of core?
Crunches.
Crunches. People think of abs. And people think of, I gotta strengthen my abs, that's my core. But that's not the whole picture here. And we want to go into, really what it is to strengthen the core. And I'll get into the ab thing here in a little bit. That is important though. So if you look at the back, I'm gonna move the chicken here. So go right ahead. He's not blocking the way here. But if you look at the spine, down here in the bottom, we've got muscles in our low back here called the erector spinae muscles, okay? Then we've got some muscles down here. These are called our glute muscles down here. Those are the butt muscles right there at the bottom, okay? Then we've got our abs that are in the front here, and then we've got hip muscles down here, okay? So it kind of makes a square around the back, all right? Typically what happens when we sit a lot, what will happen is these get tight back here. A lot of times that comes from when we do things, maybe we bend the wrong way and these muscles tighten up in our low back. People have felt stiff before, okay? And then down here, our glute muscles, we don't use those a lot. Those typically become strong when we're working out, running, walking, riding our bike, and a lot of people don't use those muscles well, so those end up weak. Now up here, the abs as well end up weak, okay? So we don't use those abs as much as we should. And then down here, these muscles get tight, okay? There's actually muscles that come off the front of your spine, right off these little things on the side here, and it comes all the way down through the hip area and down into your legs. And when we sit, that shortens up. And then when we stand up, those will get tight and actually pulls your spine and causes pain down here, okay? So we've got weak muscles here, weak muscles here. It's kind of like a right across there, okay? And then we've got tight muscles here and tight muscles here. What does that do? That takes our pelvis and it moves it forward. It causes what's called an anterior tilt or anterior shift in the pelvis. And that puts a lot of strain on the back. And that's why when we work with people in our office, we're actually working to correct this entire complex here that's happening. We can't just do an adjustment and just have the pain go away because that pelvis needs to be retrained. And that's why we will do the adjustments and do the exercises and stretches as well. Okay, so we've got to stretch these out back here. We've got to strengthen the glute muscles and also the hamstrings down here in the back of our legs. And we've got to strengthen the abs with the crunches that we do and stretch out these down at the bottom, okay? So that's the full plan that we typically do for people if they're really, wanting to correct the problem of the spine to have it stay there. Because of course, when those muscles get tight in the back, they lock it up so it can't move very well. When that happens, that's when the spine gets stiff, that's when those joints don't move and we get nerve pressure. So we do the strengthening and the exercising to get this balanced out, but also we do the adjustments through the spine to get it loosened up again too, because until we do that, those muscles are just going to hold that in place. That's why the adjustment is so important, along with the therapy and the exercises that we do as well. So it's a whole complex that we're trying to fix there. And there's really simple things that people can do. They can do bridge exercises where you basically lay on your back with your feet up and you just kind of hold yourself up, doing that by squeezing your butt cheeks. That's the way to do that. That's how you do it, because a lot of people, they'll do that exercise, but they'll actually try to use their back and their legs to push themselves up, and that makes the problem worse. So it's not always about just how many exercises you do. It's not the quantity always, but the quality. It's how well you do the exercise. And you've really got to know how to do exercises properly. If you just go in, start doing crunches and start doing these bridges, and you don't know which muscles you're supposed to be activating and not, you're not going to make a whole lot of change. You can actually make things worse. And that's why we take our patients through those, actually take them through them specifically and show them how to do those exercises. Crunches are another one. That's a big thing. People ask us, how do you do a crunch? How do you do an actual abdominal thing? Because people used to do those sit-ups where you come all the way up, and now we're finding that those cause you even more back pain. Okay, and you probably feel it when you do a sit-up. But all we want to do is just think to yourself that you're just, when you lay back, you're just kind of lifting your head up, your head and your shoulders off the floor. Okay, think of it like there's like a bathroom scale, and you just want to lift it up enough so that that scale goes to 0, and then back down on it. Okay, and even putting your hands underneath your back will help support. Remember, in our back, we've got a curve in it. And if we do a crunch and we don't support this, that will cause more problems in the back too. So we slide our hands underneath there while we do our crunch, and that supports it, and you don't cause any stress there. And you're going to get a lot of good benefit out of that as opposed to hurting yourself, because you can really hurt yourself with crunch exercises.
What about, my husband does this, he lies on, first thing he does when he gets up in the morning is flat, and he lifts his feet up just a little bit and counts to 10 and then puts them down. Yeah. Now, should you put your hand behind your back when you do that
exactly.
too?
Yeah, you got it, because you're going to be working the abs there.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure to tell him to clench his abs.
Oh, okay.
Because some people will try to use their legs for that, and that can make the problem worse.
Yeah.
Yes. You want
or this in the back.
Both. Put the hands behind here, and make sure that you're squeezing your ab muscles to lift your legs.
Okay.
Okay, because a lot of times we'll just do whatever we can to get our legs up because we want to do the exercise, but we're using all the wrong muscles to do
okay,
it.
that's good to know.
So you really got to think about when you're doing exercises, what muscle am I actually trying to clench to, make this progress. And I go through that in detail in the book a little bit more about which muscles are the ones we need to strengthen, the ones we need to stretch and exercise. So that's a little bit about lower cross syndrome. And I would say my guess would be about 90% of the American population has this problem because of our lifestyle.
Isn't it amazing, though, the human body? I mean, that's our spine. I mean, it's unbelievable when you look at that.
Yeah, when I started learning about the human body, it just really starts to blow your mind, and you really start to think, there's got to be some kind of intelligent design behind this thing, because, you look at it, we've got this nervous system that's just perfect. I mean, every cell, tissue, organ, everything in our body is controlled from our brain up here that sends messages down through here. We never have to think about when we go to the bathroom, when we digest our food, when we, if we want to move our hand out, it just moves out there,
Amazing.
It's unbelievable, because people don't realize that, if I'm going to move my arm out this way, if I'm going to use my tricep muscle like this, my nervous system at the same time is relaxing this muscle, because, this one can't stay tight while this one moves. So, it's just unbelievable, the things that are going on. You think about just the way that we see. Think about images, light rays come in and hit the back of our eye, and our brain actually turns those into images.
Unreal.
It's the nervous system and the body is something I don't think we'll ever fully understand. It's just something that you can't replicate, and it's way beyond our understanding. We can't even figure out the cell, and we've got trillions of cells in our body, 50 to 75 trillion cells in our body. And each one of those is so complex. We're still trying to figure out DNA and RNA and mitochondria and all these fancy little things in there. And it's just, it's amazing. And
it's fascinating.
It is
The human body will blow your mind.
I know.
I keep wondering what the face of the person looked like that spine came from.
Well, I promise you, this is a plastic one.
Oh, really?
It's not the last patient that didn't pay their bill. That's just the fake one, Charlie.
Which part of that is your actual neck? How many of those
Right here,
vertebrae?
7, the top 7.
Top 7.
Those are the ones that form the neck there. This would be the base of the skull that sits right down on top of that. And your 7th vertebra is the one that has the biggest one of these things that sticks out here, which is why we feel that bump right at the base of our neck there. That's either your last cervical vertebra or your first thoracic vertebra. It's different for, but about 90% of the people, C7, the last cervical, is that spinous process. When you look at a buffalo, and they've got that big hump, that's their spinous process. That's their big C7 spinous process that sticks up.
Now, when you have a hip replacement,
Yeah, this is very good.
where is a hip replacement?
That is right down here. It's a ball and socket joint, okay? And typically, you've got your leg that comes in to this hip bone, okay? When someone breaks their hip, they really don't break their hip. They actually break their leg. Because what happens is you've got the ball in here from your leg, and you've got this shaft that comes down here, and then your leg goes down from here. You typically break this little shaft in between the ball and socket and the leg right here. So when you break your hip, you're really breaking your leg.
Planning for the future, Charlie?
No, I think too. I was told too that some women that fall down and they say, well, their hip gave out or something, but actually it was due to the wrong. What am I trying to think of the?
Think of osteoporosis or
Something like that, where people think they fell down and broke their hip when they fell, but it broke before they fell.
yeah, a lot of times it can just break.
Yeah.
When women go and get their bone density, any more they can do it in more places than they used to, but they used to always do it right in that part of the leg. That's where they always did what's called a DEXA scan to find out. We can really see well in there how strong our bone is. And if that gets weak, it can just break from the stress of our body, and it's very dangerous because a certain percentage of hip fractures end up fatally.
Yeah.
So it's a very serious issue to take care of your bones and make sure you get enough calcium, vitamin D, and all the nutritional things.
What a learning lesson this is. Very interesting. And I wanna-
Professor Greg.
Professor, and I want to make sure I mention again, goodbackbadback.com is the website, and you can get the book and all those great things there. But this is Shannon's last week with us, and in honor of that, Shannon is going to perform a number which she has not told us today. But before we do that, we have a little bit of footage. I think we do. This is from her first pageant in the Miss America ranks. The song is a Natalie Wood song, Orange Colored Sky. Go ahead.
Gosh.
Let's see that.
Does it have the part in it where...
I was walking along, minding my business, when out of an orange-colored sky, flash, bam, alakazam, wonderful you came by. I was humming a tune, drinking in sunshine, when out of that orange-colored view, flash, bam, alakazam, I got a look at you. One look and I yelled, timber, watch out, flying glass. 'Cause the sea smelling in the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout. I hit, this is it, this is it. I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam, out of an orange-colored purple stripe, pretty green polka-dotted sky. I'm sorry, my right music was not played. Beginning. I was walking along, minding my business, when out of an orange-colored sky, flash, bam, alakazam, wonderful you came by. I was humming a tune, drinking in sunshine, when out of that orange-colored view, flash, bam, alakazam, I got a look at you. One look and I yelled, timber, watch out for flying glass. 'Cause the ceiling fell in and the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout. I hit, this is it, this is it. I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam, out of an orange-colored purple stripe, pretty green polka-dotted sky. Flash, bam, alakazam, it's good sky.
And now, oh, it's Brenda. Brenda snuck into the studio. Back there, Brenda. She did a little saunter thing. Now that was funny. Now here we go. Shannon, you won talent that night, though, right,
I
Shannon?
did. I won talent that
You won
night.
talent that night.
Yeah.
And here's the real thing, the real deal, the live deal. Shannon O'Neill, go ahead.
All right, I will be performing The Nearness of You, a Nora Jones song, and you all know how I sing jazz, so here we go. It's not the pale moon that excites me, that thrills and delights me. Oh no, it's just the nearness of you.
the Daily Quizzer today, brought to you by O'Michael's Fish and Chips, 1116 Mount Vernon Avenue, Marion, Ohio. Telephone number 725-3474. If you're lucky enough to be the first person to answer today's Quizzer question correct on the Exchange Marion's Facebook page, you'll receive a free fish dinner for one at O'Michael's Fish and Chips. Today's question: name the actor who portrayed the Fat Man in Jake and the Fat Man. Marianne, who was that?
I'm not even familiar with it. Was it a TV show?
TV show, 5 years it ran.
Was his name Jacoby?
No.
No.
I'm just telling you, Marianne, you're wrong. Doctor, who played Fat Man?
I cannot remember. I see the guy's face. I have no idea what his name is.
Big time actor. Did a lot of other shows.
Not Brian Dennehy, was it?
That's a good guess. I'm not going to give it to you yet. Martha, what do you think?
I can't think of a thing.
He was a big actor. Had another successful show, too. Charlie?
No.
No help from the panel
I
today?
think he has dark hair.
Run to Facebook and see if you can get it right. Not much help from the panel today. We will see you on Thursday.